the last 90 days. Has anyone requested specific financial information from
No.
this, from us or from the board?
No, but I will say this, we are working on some of the input that our members have asked for, by class. So I'm working with Triumvir with, Lisa to finalize getting our budget in there, because I've been manually putting the numbers in from the budget I made because it's not in there quite yet. So it will be, and we will be able to print out each class, so everybody can see those individually.
To the best of your knowledge, have you denied any member any specific information regarding our monies?
Never. Now, the only person that do ask me all the time is Travis and Amber.
Okay. What is the proper procedure for asking for specific financial information from the board?
You have to send in a request by registered mail, and that's in the bylaws, I believe, or 209. And 209, I mean, yes.
Have you received anything? Have you received any registered mail in the last 60 days or last 90 days?
No. None.
I still believe that's an unnecessary hurdle that we don't need to put for our membership, and we haven't been. People have been asking for stuff and we've been giving it to them.
I have been, because I've been working with people. But the rules are in the 209, because people state that all the time here, do they not? 209, doesn't it get stated all the time? Well, 209 says you're supposed to send in a registered letter. But I have been very nice, and people will email me, and whatever they have asked, I have provided. Now, did I set a precedent? Yes, because I try to work with our members because they ask, and I like my members. But in reality, if I wanted to be a stickler, I'd say, no, I'm sorry, you gotta send me in a registered letter.
Well, the fact of the matter is you really need to be sending it in. It's not about transparency or trying to put a hurdle, but it protects the association and it protects the member. Because there's a process and a time limit to get answers and to get the information, it all needs to be documented. Otherwise, we could give one person information, another person not information. But if it's sent through certified letter, then it gets taken care of in a timely manner. But just emailing it, if everybody in this room had a question and emailed the GM, I do that all day. She does it all day.
Or we just give out a standard set of well-done financial documents and everyone could look at it every month and not have to ask us anything. We would barely get questions if we had the stuff broken down clearly and provided monthly to everyone, then no one would hardly ask for anything. It would just be odd questions.
Jason, did we not just say we were working on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's be positive. I'm working on that, so we will see that. I've heard you all, and we're gonna provide it, okay?
Thank you, Shirley.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, everybody, smile. Thank you. Okay.
Not too many smiles. Looks like a bunch of pissed off people in there.
I want to make
Where's
a
the swear
point.
jar?
I'd like to make a point. If I may,
Just quickly.
I want to read something because Mr. Long does have his opinion. He's more than entitled to it. The treasurer shall keep, maintain, cause, or to be kept, maintain adequate and correct accounts of the properties and business transactions of the association, including accounts, assets, liabilities, receipts, disbursements, gains, and losses, and shall make or cause to be made such financial reports as required by law. He or she shall disperse funds to the association and may be ordered by the board of directors and shall render to the president and directors, when they request it, an account of all of his or her transactions as treasurer and the financial condition of the association. There's no person sitting up here that the burden falls more on than the treasurer. So, through your tenure of being here, you've profusely said that nobody needs to follow that rule and that document should be provided. I don't have access to QuickBooks. A lot of the work that you're referring to could have been done by yourself.
Well, you know what I was told right when I got on the board? Hey, what am I supposed to do? You just read something the GM gives you. You just parrot some numbers off of some paper.
That's your choice.
It took about
So
six months of asking repeatedly for QuickBooks access before I could even get into QuickBooks. Because you said, treasurer doesn't get QuickBooks. Did you or did you not say that repeatedly? You did. You did.
I don't know that there's any reason to get mad here.
Well, you're accusing me of not doing my job when, in fact, I have access to zero bank accounts. So how could I possibly make a transfer to report to you guys? So don't be accusing me of doing stuff I've been
We're not
refused
gonna have-
access to.
We're going to have this discussion now.
And we aren't.
Discussion item number 1. Lost Springs drought resolution. That is, yes, that's something that you brought forward.
Okay, I know that water is on everybody's mind. It's on our mind as well. There are some things going on that we're doing that we can't talk about, but there are some things that have been mentioned to us by members that we could do moving forward that we certainly agree with. This is something that me, along with some other members, have put together, and I would like for us to vote on it and pass it and send it to the Groundwater Conservation District. It is a resolution, and it's written to say, Dear Groundwater Conservation District, whereas Lost Morris Spring is the 9th largest spring in Texas, whereas Lost Morris is vital to the well-being of residents and members of Fort Clark Springs and to the value of their investments, it is essential to the survival of wildlife, and the survival of Lost Morris Spring is critical to the economic health of Kinney County. Whereas Lost Morris Spring has gone completely dry for 3 consecutive years for the first time in recorded history, whereas reputable hydrologists, including that employed by Kinney County Groundwater Conservation District, have shown a correlation between increased pumping and the loss of spring flow, be it resolved that the Board of Directors for Fort Clark Springs Association, Inc., on behalf of its members, hereby urges Kinney County Groundwater Conservation District to act to ensure adherence to the official desired future condition concerning Lost Morris Spring, and to adopt lawful rules for reasonably limiting pumping during periods of drought in order to protect Lost Morris Spring flow. So I think it's just something that we should discuss, and then maybe I think we should pass this and cordially send it to the Groundwater Conservation District, and just further our engagement with them as we've done in the past.
Donna, do you have any thoughts?
I just think you need to change the date on this letter.
Oh, I know. That's just right. I mean, so I think in the letter that we have here, there's a body of the letter. Really, I think that's all we're discussing, Memo. The format, I think, can be altered. I'm not a format genius, so the format can be altered. And I at the bottom, I put sincerely yours, Fort Clark Board of Directors, and Lisa Bell as president, the only person signing it. But I really think that we, at least you, Tony, and Lisa should sign it at the minimum, but maybe all of us. So
I think we should also.
yes, I just didn't make it out like that because the body of it was too long.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is just a draft.
Yeah.
Will be on our letterhead. I saw something similar. written
somewhere recently, something similar to this, which was done in what, 2013, 2012?
I don't know.
That was some resolution that Bill Hahn put in about San Antonio coming here and sucking out of it.
Yeah, that was something similar to that. That one's filed, correct? I'm assuming it's filed.
I mean, the letter's fine. I don't disagree with it, but people have been sitting at the groundwater meetings for a couple years, barking all these things at them, and they didn't make any change in what they've been doing. So I don't know how this letter is going to help, and I'm hoping we come up with a more firm pressure that we might be able to put on them besides one piece of paper that we're going to send them. And I would wonder, where was this board at when we had groundwater election people? It was too political for us to get involved at that time, but now we're going to get involved now. So that's better.
Well, if you give me just a second, we actually discussed this. Article 5 of the State of Texas Certificate of Incorporation states that no part of activities of the corporation shall be carried on propaganda or otherwise attempting to influence legislation, laws, or participating in or intervening in statements of any political campaign on behalf of any candidate for public office. We can't.
Well, we didn't have to endorse specific candidates, but we could have been very vocal.
But that's propaganda.
And we're not trying to talk about transgenders' rights, legal immigration, or some kind of policy. It's Fort Clark Springs. So we need to fight for the damn Springs and not just go, okay, here's a letter. Thanks. We need to go hard on this.
Well,
Well,
look
this
at
is a
the
start.
positive
This is a
side.
start. This is a start.
That's a start, right? Is it a
Yeah,
start?
it's a
Well,
start.
and it's
So that's
more than a
positive.
start because we have met with them. You were here. We
It
have
didn't
met
go
with them.
anywhere.
We've discussed with, just because it doesn't go the way we want, doesn't mean we're
It
not
didn't go
working
anywhere.
at going
Just
forward.
went dead.
It's all right, but it's a start and that's positivity.
Jason, but it's not because we didn't want to meet with them again.
I'm all for the letter. I'm all for putting pressure on them, sending them more letters. Maybe we can get a few more directors in the groundwater meetings. I've seen Charlena there several times. So it'd be nice to have some more involvement and let them know that we are really concerned with this. And I'm glad we're doing a letter, and I will definitely sign that letter. So
Thank you.
And you're hesitant. Yep. And where do you?
I'd like to say something that, contrary to a number of rumors I've heard that this board is not on top of this issue or not interested. Obviously, that's false. This issue has been a priority for us for a long time. I've often questioned the manner in which we could have more influence, but certainly this resolution is something that I think would apply some pressure. It's at least a record of our feelings about how the groundwater district should pay more attention to this. So if nobody's made a motion yet, I move that we adopt this resolution, and as soon as I'm back next week, I'll be happy to sign it and we can send it.
is this going to be is this the same as all the other resolutions we have filed at the courthouse? It's going to be a list of those, or this is just a letter to them that we're calling a resolution?
I mean, we can file it.
We could file it. I don't know that
It's necessary, but.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that's necessary.
Do we have a second before we go to more questions?
I second the motion.
All right. Go ahead.
This is pertinent to the discussion of water, but
Your name?
my name is Christy Palmer. I've been a resident here at Fort Clark for over 20 years, and my husband, David Palmer, was recently elected to the Kinney County Groundwater District Board. I fully support this resolution. I definitely think that we're playing a long game with the water, and it's definitely a step in the right direction. I have another thing to add that I would like to make you aware of and possibly get your support on. The Groundwater Board has recently proposed some rule changes, and one of them is to increase the monthly reporting of permit holders to increase the reporting of permit holders to be monthly as opposed to yearly. And this particular rule has been requested by their hydrologist and their engineer, and it seems like a very something that they would do, a very positive, impactful motion for them to increase data collection. Their process is that they have to bring the rule up for public comment before they can vote on it, and they did that at their meeting last week. And I think that there were some objections to this particular rule as being a little bit burdensome, maybe for some of the permit holders, and nobody said, yes, we want this rule, because we sort of just thought it would happen anyway. So I would like to let the groundwater district know that we feel that this is an important change to their rules, that it helps with their data collection, and it will in fact help with keeping the stream.
Is it going to be brought up on the next meeting?
They will vote at the next meeting on this rule.
Can you say something then?
No, that time is done, but you can still put in we have about until about Monday to kind of put in emails or comments. So I have created a little petition that basically states we strongly support this rule, and I would like to ask you to sign it. I don't know about whether you can sign it as Fort Clark directors, but I think that would be very effective. But at least if you would sign it as individuals, I'm going to give it to you, and I would like to ask the public to sign it also, because the more people that are in support of this rule, the more likely they are. I feel certain that they will pass it. It is in our benefit, but I just want them to know that we definitely are aware of this rule change and we do want it to happen. So
I'll sign it.
well, you want to
We want to be possible to take that for resolution of sending them. I think that's probably. This is the main one that they were talking about.
Mrs. Palmer, can you email it to us or something?
Yeah, I will email it to you guys and yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then we want to take this so you can change the wording and the email on the resolution.
Oh, she's,
If we,
I'm sorry.
Well, I guess maybe we have the issue process, do we want to add this to the resolution first?
Hey, John, what
Read it to them.
this is for me also. I don't want to use you out. I would do it separate if I was you.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So let us have time to review this. We can pass this and we can amend it later.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Two things. One, I'd like everybody to take a deep breath, everybody, on this side of the mic, on that side. Okay, please, it's important. We're assigning an awful lot of malice and motive to things that are taking place that aren't necessarily there. People are trying to do their best. I think on both sides. Okay? The other thing is that once again, you guys have a specific recommendation you're trying to do, and now we're trying to solve world peace. So I agree with Mr. Palmer. I think the resolution needs to be done, sent off. As I understand it, when Christie said this other thing is time sensitive, so if we're gonna sign it, they can make it available in the back or whatever, that we do that today. I would assume, Christie, that you're gonna send that off if you get signatures.
Yes, I will send it to
Okay,
all of
so-
the directors of the Kinney County Groundwater.
So we should help her help us. As far as the other thing goes, I would say let's do them separate. You guys have a thing on the wording. Perfection is the enemy of good enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Kurt.
That sounds reasonable.
Elizabeth, did you want? I'll be great. Elizabeth Hodges, been here since 2004. Jason's right. It's been a long haul and it's really frustrating. But I want to tell you what I think that resolution does, and I think it's very brave of all the board members to do it. It shows us, the public, that you're making a public stand and how important you think. It's not going to change anything. It just say that spring is important. So I salute you for doing it. I think maybe down the road, you might want to think about sending one to the commissioner's court too, because we have the creek involved. So thank you very, very much. It's a great stand. It's very positive and it communicates to all of us that you guys think that spring is important. We knew you did, but now it's in writing. So thank you to every one of you.
Sure, did everybody sign? Did we hear no?
No, I haven't.
She didn't sign it.
I don't multitask well. Okay. All right, so you have a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Thank you, Tony. Approval of the amended collection policy. I put this back on here. We voted to change the amount of our, excuse me, the amount of our, sorry, allergies. We made a motion and passed the change to our late fees to $30. Just to make sure, because if there seems to be a lot of, well, anyway, we only voted on the change in the amount. So I'm going ahead and calling a vote to change the finding policy before we put it at the notarize it. And
Just the amount is the only thing we're changing.
yes,
Okay.
so Do I have a motion to amend the policy?
I motion to amend it.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Uh,
All right, unanimous. Open pool for spring break. That was yours, Al?
Yeah, my hope is that, while we still have water, that we may be open for spring break, and I've spoken a little bit to Ms. Cavender regarding whether or not we're gonna be charging our members to swim. And hopefully we'll have it prepared for the entire week of spring break, which starts March 14th. That's a Friday, and then it'll go on that following week. That's hopefully the beginning of all this, and there'll be further discussion about possibly having it open to the public in April and May if we have water. But it won't be, the official kickoff won't happen until Memorial Day weekend if we have water. So let's all continue to pray for rain, and so that we have, this will be the first year in 3 years the creek hasn't gone dry, hopefully. I feel confident it will stay up, but my feelings that what actually happens are two different things. Mrs. Carpenter, what are you more or less thinking about charging if we open it to the non-members?
We're thinking, I believe, either $5 to $7 for non-members, and then, children under 4, I believe, free, and then 5 until, I think, 17, I believe, it would be probably 5, and then, members' guests would be half of that, but I haven't done all the details. These are things I'm thinking of and trying to figure out how we're gonna monitor that. An idea, and you can all give me your feedback. In our rules and regulations, I've read multiple times, it does say in there that our members are supposed to have a membership card. And when you're on a military base, if anybody lived down one, you had to have your military ID. You went so they knew who you were. And I know at one time there used to be the membership cards, and it's a privilege to live here, and I think everybody that's here would say yes. And I think a membership card shows that privilege, and it helps identify you're here, you're a member, to people who wouldn't have one. So when our security goes down the pool to check, if you don't have that membership card, you're paying. So
It's something I'm working
working
on.
on, I really hope that
Once I have that all put together, that the members will really embrace that, because you guys are the fort. And having that membership card says, I am a member of this great place. And it will help me know who is not a member, so I can charge them appropriately. So that's something I'm working on. But feedback, email me all you want.
And last year, we allowed adult children that live here full-time to get in there, and we allowed grandkids of members to go in there, and we allowed full-time renters to also get into the pool. I mean, I'm getting charged the same amount for all my dozen lots. But can my tenants go in there? Well, we allowed it last year, so I suggest we allow it. I told them all, you can go. I don't know that any of them even took advantage of it. But I would also think grandkids, it's not like they live here. And if you live with your parents, taking care of them, helping them, maybe you should be able to get in there. It's just-
My point of this discussion was to make sure that we have a plan in place to be in, if there's water there, that we're gonna be open for business and making a little bit of money on the week of spring break, March 14th, and that week after.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, last item, and as Curtis said, let's all take a deep breath. I know everybody has strong opinions about this. Possible special assessment for motel HOA reserve study. So we had the town hall, and probably most of you were here, at that one or have seen it. The bid that we did have originally, they had to step out, they lost too much of their crew, and right now can't do that project. But we still have other bids. So, I'm opening it up to discussion
with the board members first on this. I know there's been talks of adding the reserve study, so, I guess starting with memo, what are your thoughts?
After the town hall, I think I became more convinced that, we're going to need the extra money to do the motel. My only concern is how much are we gonna ask for the members, me being one of them, hey, for the special assessment. I think that if we request a reasonable amount and we are able to identify those monies when requested or how the money is being spent, I think we should go forward. Okay.
John?
Mr. Mann, we have part of that written off, right?
Oh, great question. So Mr. Mann actually came out.
He used to own his own construction company, and he put a temporary support to hold the support. Just to make sure there aren't, if any accidents were to happen, that is going to hold that, so nothing's going to fall. And that's already been completed. And it's cedar, and it's normal 6x6, so when the work is done, they can take that support that he put in right next to it. You can go down there and look at it right next to it, and they can reuse that because most of those, I believe, are made out of cedar, those supports.
Correct.
I want to go backwards a little bit in the conversation. You know, you might know the answer to this. When was the last special assessment?
2020.
And what was it for, the trash truck?
No, 2020 was for the taxes, and the trash truck was in 2016.
Okay, and so when are, I'm not 100% familiar with all this, when are taxes due? Generally when we pay them?
Before October 1st.
Okay, and I think that, you know, talking to some of the people prior to us ever having this conversation, they said they generally would get an assessment for taxes. And so, I'm going to switch teams a little bit here. The special assessment says, in addition to regular assessments and improved residential assessment, and without the vote of the membership, the board may establish special assessments in the amount necessary to pay any deficit of the association for any fiscal year. Such special assessment may be levied only once in a calendar year. So I think that the problem here is that in the past it's been done either when we didn't have any money in the bank, or when it was getting close to tax time and we were running a deficit. I think that doing a special assessment is what I would prefer to do. I would prefer that everybody be realistic and not be so tight about $40 or $50. I understand that you can't eat at Ziggy's for $40 or $50. As a matter of fact, I ate with Lisa and Charlene yesterday, and it was $90 for us three to eat. Well, and my two kids. And so I just think it's really unrealistic to be upset about $40 or $50. That's just my personal opinion. However, the way that this is written, it does establish a past tense wording, and in the historical context, it's been done for taxes, which are done in October, which is the end of our fiscal year. I don't know how, in the wording here, how for any fiscal year, how you could do it at the beginning of the year or the middle of the year. And the way it's worded, it's almost like you almost got to do it at the end of the year. So here's what I would propose. Mr. Mann has shorted up. I know you don't like this, but has shorted up, has made it safe. We got to block off the roofs that are affected, and we take it out of the general fund. We have the money in the general fund. We take it out. We do this project. We take it out of the general fund. And at the end of the year, we're going to be running a deficit, and we'll have to do a special assessment for that deficit.
I've heard no argument that we are I don't know, but I've heard the argument that we are able to do a special assessment for the taxes and a separate one for some other deficit that we out, but I haven't really.
Yeah,
analyzed the
it
thing.
doesn't say that.
Someone has told me that.
Well, it's the common property assessment, yes. So there's common property assessment that you can pay for mud taxes. It's very specific for mud taxes. But the special assessment is for, the deficit.
Yeah, so, that's what I would propose. We're not completely broke, we got $804,000 in accounts, we pay it out of our general fund, and when we get towards the end of the year, if we're running a deficit, we do a special assessment to pay for the taxes. I mean, it's gonna be this big loop-de-loop, but it's gonna be the same thing at the end of the day.
Well, and you said the general fund, would we not want to pull it from the restricted?
Well, we could, but the restricted fund doesn't have a budget, it doesn't run a positive or negative balance. The general fund is what runs a deficit or a surplus.
I mean, we should get a budget on our restricted fund.
Yeah,
But,
I don't know that we need a budget, we need reporting.
yeah,
So we had several bids. I saw some come in at 8 a.m. revised. I have not read those. So are we proposing we do just the minimum to fix the motel to make it safe? Or we're gonna go with a $40,000 withdrawal from the general fund? What are we talking about doing?
That's a good question.
I can kind of answer this. Currently, John, right now, we're in a deficit,
Well,
$175,000 right
Right,
now. So
right.
no, I can't take that out. Not until the end of the year. So if we want to wait till the end of the year to
You
do
can take it
this,
from the
we can.
restricted fund. It won't affect your
We
operational
can take
budget.
it out of the restricted fund and pay the restricted fund back if we do it that way. But we paid the taxes in October.
Right.
So that is the fiscal year right
Yes.
now. So then we do a special assessment for the taxes that we've already paid, which was $132,000. But even with the highest, that still wouldn't cover that. It would cover most of it, but not all of it.
Well, we can only pay lead from the common property, which is 20 to 30,000.
Yes.
It's a burden there.
The
Oh,
school
I got
district
you.
gets most of the
Okay,
money.
okay, I got you. So,
I think my point is to continue the conversation on it, not necessarily to say that one's right or one's not right. It's just that we've been talking about the special assessment in only the context of special assessment, being done. And I think that we need to be discussing all options so that everybody gets a more clear picture of what's going on. Those are our options. We can take it out of the restricted fund, we can take it out of the general fund, or we can do a special assessment. But we are, I believe, running a $175,000 deficit right now. When I was looking at it last night, 175.
right, and at the beginning of the year, so everybody knows, we paid the insurance and we paid the taxes right away, so we didn't have to pay interest. We saved almost $11,000 doing that. And we knew we were gonna show a deficit. So it was 200, I believe, and $23,000 in October deficit. Now we're down to 173. So we are gaining it back. It probably will take about 4 more months to see that, maybe 5. But by the end of the year, we should show a favorable variance.
Well, if we're showing a deficit now and do the special assessment now, would it work out?
I mean, we're showing a special assessment because we spent all the money on the taxes and the insurance at the beginning of the year based on cash accounting. I get the argument that if we don't collect assessments, it looks like we were supposed to get more than we wanted, which we need to be adjusted. But I just don't see a clear picture. I see we're negative 175, but we're up 25 every month.
Is on this, not on whether we're cash or right now.
Well, his comment is we're a deficit of negative 175,000, which wouldn't show that way if we were doing a full account.
But then that's not cash in your hand.
But it is a better forecast for large business and
It's
complex things.
forecasted, right, exactly, to give investors more of an idea that, oh, this company is doing fantastic.
Well, we got investors of sorts sitting right here. They're investing their money every month.
Exactly, so they would want to see the real money.
This is not the discussion. This is not the action item. So do we have? Yes.
Ms. Gallagher, is there going to be a potential of the bid going up the longer we delay this?
Well, no, I don't foresee that happening.
And you need 40,000, we need 40,000 to fix the motel.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, as you are aware, or Charlene at least, definitely knows, I've been documenting both hotel buildings actually, and I have also established contact with engineers who agreed to come here for a very small fee, basically gas money, on their way through to Martha, which is
Okay.
amazing. But they're unable to. That will be early March, and
We're good.
which gives me time to complete my documentation of what's going on. And I agree with, we don't really know until we explore it further. So I mean, I'm for the assessment, but I can't say we really have a refined scope that addresses all the things. And there's categories like life safety, which is the current concern. And then there's other stuff that may be ugly, but is cosmetic, and necessary for long-term maintenance. But that, the scope as it is currently defined is kind of a combination of the two. So I'm just, in getting engineers involved and me putting together documents for them to use. And they've already seen pictures, but they need more from me to get further. I'm just saying I'm for it, but we do need to collect more information to address it properly. Yes, there's money needed, but it's also, we're just not there yet. So.
Thanks, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Aaron, when did you say? First part of March, end of March?
So early March, and
Early March.
it would be really cool if we could get them here on Fort Clark days.
Oh, that would be.
So they pass through regularly on their way to Marfa, and they never stop. They don't know, like people do. But they definitely are interested in this kind of work. Well, not as a business model. Personal interest. Yeah. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any input they'd like to give? So, is there a motion or no?
I just make a motion that we table it and we revisit it in either in March or April. We're shored up to some degree now, and
I agree.
just get a little further down the road.
Are we in agreement to table?
Before y'all leave, can I make a comment?
Yeah, hold on a second. We're still gonna do the committee reports. We just wanted to do this first. So that when he has to take off, he can take off.
I was just gonna mention it to John or something that I got to ask you all about. This is short.
No, just give it, let us finish this.
Okay.
And if he goes to run out, I just tap.
We all know on the way.
Don't give me jeopardy.
No.
Okay, so,
Back up to the top. We have, airport, report. I don't believe so. All right, no airport report. Architecture? Did they send this? Thought I saw one, no? And was that announced at the beginning when I was like, that Mr.
Usually Francis gives it.
Okay. Golf committee, do we have anything?
reservation.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for acknowledging each other.
And keep our prayers with Francis and David and everything. Thank you. Okay, preservation. We met on February the 12th, and here's our report from Constance. The repairs on Dickman Hall are almost complete. Some of the areas of paint color have been changed from brown to gray. This is because the original color was gray rather than brown. The front doors of the service club are being replaced as the current front doors are rotted out. We have found new front doors that are the correct style to replace the existing doors. Many of the windows of the service club need to be replaced because the wood is rotted out. There are areas in the process of getting bids on this project. These windows will need to be built to spec and are unavailable from modern window sources. Next page. The Kinney County Historical Commission has completed their annual inspection of buildings in Kinney County that have Texas Historical Commission plaques. A problem was found on the rear stairway of Seminole Hall. Charlena quickly responded to this and put up a gate and a sign that says "Keep Out" at the bottom of the stairs so that no one will attempt to climb the stairs. Also, they found several problems with the post theater, such as it needing paint and a window screen that was damaged by hail. We are in the process of contacting the state office of the Historical Commission to inquire if they provide classes to teach County Historical Commission members how to evaluate historical buildings. We continue to question the guidelines that they follow. Respectfully submitted, Council's Cooper. Well,
Ms. Sharon, Ms. Sharon,
that made up for all the other committee.
Quick
Yes,
question.
sir.
Like yes, the courtesy too.
I'm a little confused because we just fixed, preservation just fixed some of the windows at the NCO club not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was within the last 24 months.
Mm-hmm.
So that work is falling apart already?
Yes, sir.
Who did that work? It's falling apart already.
Is it work that was previously done or new areas?
It was kind of new areas, but it's a local contractor.
But it was Mr. H. Chen. I remember him sitting right over there talking about how they were working on the windows.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the big deal for him.
I know. Mm-hmm.
And there are, in 24 months have gone by and they're already falling apart?
Well, some of it is new. Some of it was work that was previously done.
Let me ask a question. By working on the windows, they didn't work on the frames themselves, they just put individual panes in?
Well, some of the panes were cracked or broken, but mostly it was the caulking, or not the caulking, what do they call that?
Glazing?
Yeah, the glazing on the windows that was rotted out. And a lot of the windows at the bottom of the windowsill, the wood was rotted. It gets beat to death by the sun on that one side.
So the reason that the glazing like that you go to buy at Home Depot, it's not the right stuff? It'll be like a real light, like a talcum powdery?
No,
whatever.
it's the right stuff.
Does it take weeks to dry?
Most likely.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't give it enough time to dry thoroughly before they painted it, which, you know, if the glazing is damp still and you put paint on it, then it's going to blister and peel. So, that sort of thing. So
I've just seen that mistake a lot. Either people will caulk it or they'll use that real cheap glaze.
Right.
The good glaze, you got to take them out, controlled environment, put it in there, let it dry for a couple of weeks, take care of it, put it back in.
Yeah.
It's quite the
And I don't know
process.
what material they used when they did that. But, you know, it's throwing good money after bad sometimes. Depends on who does the work.
Thank you.
And just as are they doing an inspection before the final payment is made? I mean, I know that doesn't help if it's something that's done.
No, generally preservation pays in thirds, and the final payment isn't made until it's inspected, and I think Philip does the inspections, you know, make sure that it passes, and then the contractor gets their last payment. But, you know, a lot of times the work looks good at first, and then a couple of weeks later it starts looking like crap. You know how that goes.
Yeah, because you can't tell until.
I know, yeah, so, but we're trying.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sharon.
We need a new contractor. Thank you.
And recycling. Oh,
Recycling. Good morning.
it's like you just appeared.
We finished off 2024 with contribution for cardboard that was $1,945. Yes. So for 24, we made a profit of $5,079. So that's super. I gave the board a listing of 9 years of data, and the total for 9 years net income was $29,689.
That's amazing.
Yay, we need more. We need more people though to bring recycled products. And and I left a few graphic cards in the back in case you don't know the 9 products that we do take. So that's back there. Tonnage for the 9 years. This is amazing. 382.42 tons, which amounts in regular pounds of 764,840 pounds. So that sounds like a lot, but we need a lot more. And I'm still waiting for $337 from Waste Management. They tell me next week. So it's like the check is in the mail, but we're waiting. The big news is we did get a forklift. It's a 2018 model. I have a few photos, but I'm not sure that Adam is ready to show them. But anyway, come. We're open 4 to 6 on Thursday, and today on Saturdays 8:30 to 12. If you want to take a look at it. It was tax-free, and thank you Community Council for the 501c3. Yeah. It cost $16,000, and Union Pacific Railroad grant paid $10,000, and I had $88 left over. So the Fort Clark only paid $5,912. Pretty good. So we're happy. I guess that's all. We're closed for Fort Clark days, March 8th. So.
Well, I just want to say, in that tonnage that she gave us, that's what didn't go into the landfill, which didn't fill it up, which didn't cause it. It extends the life before we dig new cells. So, thank you very much.
Elena, thank you very much. And in the spirit of transparency, the members forked over paid $5,900 toward a $16,000 forklift.
Right.
So
nice.
We are getting a lot of bang for our buck.
Yeah.
Because of you.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you bet.
Thank you.
Election Committee.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank all the people that were involved in this, since we had not quite double the ballots to send this year. So we had to obtain more volunteers than just the 2 per candidate. So I'm going to take a few minutes. I asked Tony if I could do this, and I want to name the people that actually helped us, because they don't always get credit, and they need to be credited. On the 5th, when we did all the ballot prep, which was attaching labels to the ballots and putting everything in 50-count bundles, and having Gabby retype labels that are bad and messed up. Actually, out of 2,800 plus, we only had one upside down one. And Letty fixed it for us. So anyway, the committee itself, Constant Kilgore, Pat Stephenson, Francis Bitter, Sherry Dobbs, and of course, Board Secretary, Tony Hackler. And then additionally, Mr. Bitter did help us that day with attaching labels, and we want to offer greatest condolences to Francis. And to assist us, Debbie Isaacs, Chris Race, Linda O'Brien, and Kathy Warren. Without them, we couldn't have gotten the labels done. That day we had 23 people signed up, 20 showed up. Actually, one that didn't show up was one of the volunteers for one of the candidates. So next year, please, candidates, make sure your guy's gonna show up.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
It was me.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't me, it was my volunteer.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything. You didn't have anything to do with it, but, the only problem we had was people showing up on time at 8:30. And somehow we have that problem every year, and I don't know how to correct that. Our volunteers, Patty Knoll, Sharon Greger, Vida Kelly, Jackie McDonald, Vicki Lee, Madeline Mora, Jeff White, Verna Thompson, Marianne Oliver, Debbie Hackstetter, Christy Palmer, Suzanne May, Erica, I hope I don't slaughter this, Grader, Noni Mendios, Ava Martinez, Mary Jane Olson, Marilyn Huber, Ron Fleming, Kathy Warren, Helena McBride. So we were managed to get all the ballots mailed by 11:30 on Friday.
Wow.
Which is about the same time we always mail them, so having the extra people there is helpful. Tony and I delivered the ballots in the trays to the post office at 11:15. And I have to thank admin. Everything was taken care of. We had the check-in sheet, gave it to the postmaster. They had the check ready, they had the money in the account, everything worked perfectly. And I want to thank all the people in admin that helped, Charlena and Cassie and Marisol, to get us all the stuff we needed and all the help we needed, and it worked out perfectly this year. So we had 1,631 active members, and because of so many questions about inactives, we had 1,324 inactives. Of all those, we had some, and we'll have to have Tony explain some of the changes in the total ballots. Some of them properties that already sold, and we had to take them off the list. That adjusted, and then there was another adjustment for 132 ballots that I'll let Tony explain. So in the end, we mailed 956 envelopes to Bracketville residents, 1,863 to other, and for a total of 2,819 ballots delivered. And it came out perfect after we adjusted the list. We weren't even off by one ballot. It's awesome. We did meet Thursday. Well, a couple of us did, because we had one person, Sherry Dobbs, was in the hospital, and unfortunately, Francis was sick. It was not a good day not a good week for Francis. We did do some debriefing, and we believe that this year we finally met all of our goals. We had enough people to help us. Admin did their job. The yellow ballots are the best change we've made, because we know which piece of paper now to put in the front. Everything was done on time. Post office was prepared. We had one person, thanks to Pat Stephenson, sorted out all of the bracket bills, because we had to split those out for the post office. They had to go in a separate tray. And Pat took care of that.
We had really good glue sticks. Those were perfect. Oh my, the old ones, we have water-based and we'd be constantly wiping water off the tables. These work great.
I'll make sure to notate that.
Yes. And we had all of our volunteers enough to do it, and Tony did a great job. Again, the only problem was volunteers showing up on time. And that's gonna happen every year because someone didn't get their coffee in the morning and they have to feed their cat. So, are there any questions?
No question. I don't have any questions. Give me a second. But I do want to make sure I say thank you and thank you to the whole team and you guys do an excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Sandy. You guys are awesome.
How much have we spent up to now for the election?
I don't know. I don't keep track of that. Charlene will have to run those numbers for you.
How much have we spent?
Just in postage, we spent $2,100. And in printing, we spent $3,000.
So we spent a little over 5,000 already.
$3,000 for printing?
And we haven't,
rounding it off.
and we haven't paid the auditor yet.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes, for printing, we printed almost twice as many. And they fold them for us. And they do 2 envelopes, the ballot, and the pamphlet. By the way, the pamphlet is beautiful this year. Yeah. Yes.
The reason I point that out is because I would like the membership to understand that we're not being conservative in regards to, and we take the election very seriously, and appropriate money is being spent correctly, and whatever needs to be spent so that everything is taken care of as it should be taken care of.
Right, and I should add also that Tony is working with our HOA attorney to find a way to eliminate addresses that are so bad that they've been, for 10 years, they've been coming back every year, and we can't find them. The tax office can't find them. It's a waste of money to send ballots to people that may no longer exist or have moved so many times that we can't find them. So Tony's working with the attorney to see if we can eliminate at least those really grossly bad addresses. We ran into half a dozen, just looking at the list, that had only a name and a state. I mean, that was it. They have name and a state. And we checked all of those that we could catch with Gabby to make sure that it wasn't a misprint. And no, that's all we have for these people. So obviously, that envelope is going to come back. So we're going to collect all those returns. And so our attorneys will have something to work with. Because it's expensive and it's labor intensive. And there must be a way. We can't be the only HOA with this problem. So we need to find a way to work with the Secretary of State, State of Texas, to at least inactivate those with such bad addresses that we've never been able to find them properly.
Sure. How many of them have any envelopes come back yet?
We got 2 back. So they're in my office. So
Why would they come back here? Oh, they came back. Oh, never mind. Yeah.
Return
Okay.
And has anybody complained about, up to now, has anyone complained not receiving a ballot?
Richard Moore didn't complain, but he had just sold his property and Tony already took care of it.
So just only one person had an issue.
That's all I know.
And it'll take 7-10 days for those out of the area because we have ballots going everywhere from Canada, Mexico, East Coast, West Coast, South America. I mean, they're going everywhere. So and one other thing too, Tony is the person to take care of any missing ballots, any invalidated ballots, whatever, you ruin an envelope, get a new one from Tony. You screw up your ballot, Tony will trade you one for that. And they'll label on it. But the election committee is done. In March, we will ask you to suspend the committee until September. That we want to give you our final report.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Before we recess, I just want to take a point of privilege, I guess, and say, I know things have been contentious. I know, feelings run high. Some of that is just, it's an election, we're close to the election. Articles keep getting put in the paper, everybody's got their assumptions, everybody's, but this board has tried really hard to be positive, to be open to the membership. And I just hope that, however the election turns out, that we all just kind of take a breath and remember we're neighbors, we're friends, we're all members, we're volunteers up here. You all are volunteers, you're here, and I appreciate that. And I just would like to see us take a breath and remember, we're all here together and we're a community. So
I want to know.
So I'd like to say, I've got something I'd like to say. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm clear.
Okay. All right. First, this is unrelated to our election. The first thing I want you to do is to record my negative vote to table the issue regarding the motel repairs. Just make sure that the minutes reflect that I voted against that.
Okay.
All right. The second thing, with regard to the election, there was significant effort made to notify all members that they needed to be sure and correct their addresses prior to the election so that ballots could go out. And I think it's important to note as well that it is incumbent on the member who purchases or is involved in a transaction where there's a change of ownership. Someone needs to be sure to get the record straight in our admin office so that we have an accurate address to which to send ballots. And there were a large number of accounts in the name of the Kinney County Appraisal District for which addresses are reflected to be the person that previously owned the property. And that conjures up an issue that needs a lot of discussion with our attorney, and Ms. Hagan is right. I am intent, even after I'm off of the board, to volunteer my time to try to get the issues resolved that have to do with to whom ballots can be. There was, since the ballots have gone out, there was a couple of dispatches notifying members who have issues with their ballots to contact me, and I'm currently addressing 4 different emails that either involve having not received a ballot or having not received an envelope in which to return the ballot to the auditors. Richard Moore was mentioned, and I'm going to take care of his situation. And I think it was Miss Huey that didn't get a return envelope. Someone, and I can't remember who it was, someone pointed out that they had actually received 2 ballots in one mailing, one envelope. And that won't work, because each ballot, if you own multiple lots and you received multiple ballots, each ballot must be returned in a separate envelope. So if that is a problem, be sure and let us know, and I can help to take care of that as well. But yes, there are issues that I hope will be resolved by the time the next election takes place, that has to do with all of these ballots that I believe had to be mailed to addresses that are probably not good addresses, And I expect, and Charlene, I think I heard you say that you had received a couple of ballots returned. And I want to point out that it's very important that we collect all of those and keep them so that we can do our comparison. If any ballots get returned because of the return address on the envelope, then be sure to collect all of them because we'll utilize those whenever we get further into this to resolve the issue of to whom we must send back. So it's going to be a relatively long, drawn out process, but I'm intent on trying to help get it resolved before the next election. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, just a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, after the meeting, please go by the volunteer center where the firehouse was at. We have a lot of items there that are for sale. All proceeds, every single penny collected from that auction are going to our days. And we appreciate everyone's cooperation and you all patronizing the auction. Thank you.
All right, it is 10:30 and we are recessed until we reconvene at 1 o'clock for executive session. Thank you, everyone.
Things short. I'll just read this and I'll put this month and next month together. So it can be really long. You gotta say it.
Oh, crap, I was like, man, I wish I'd
No, I grabbed it.
Hey, thanks for you all for doing that resolution. First off, so that's like Krishna, that's good. So thanks for doing that. So he can tell you what I want to make sure you guys at least address, if you're aware of it. But that offer to the tax community to file those 34 lots. You know, we tabled it to the water board. I'm just talking to you as a court clerk citizen, not as, you know, director of the water board. You know, as a citizen, concerned citizen, we're talking about ballots and voting and stuff, and you guys are aware of that issue, I'm sure. So it's likely to pass at the water board because it was tabled. It wasn't defeated, it was tabled. So it will come up again if we don't do something about it. So if you can figure out what to do, because it is time critical. I don't know if you're gonna have a special meeting or decide to do it or not to do it. That's your business. But it's likely, I don't know what Bud's gonna do about it, because I guess the Bud meeting's coming up, and you know, you show up there. And Charlena, she would have not been at our meeting, it would have passed.
Well, and I sent a letter to Wes as the president. Did you say anything? I sent a letter asking to be tabled.
Yeah, no, he did vote to table it, but the first motion by Matt was made to reject it. It was interesting. Matt made a motion to reject the offer. Matt and I voted to reject the offer, but the other three directors that were there voted not to reject it.
Randy shot
If Randy shot it in there.
That was like, I didn't afford to do something. They
So-
were sitting on their ass the whole time.
So yeah, so that could have gone either way. So anyway, just so you're aware of that, it did pass to table it. I actually voted against table it because I wanted to reject it or not pass it. So, but you have to not pass it though, not you know, reject it. It was an odd motion in the first place. So anyway, that's the scoop on that, and you know, I appreciate your kindly attention to that matter. Where, you can do what.
We're gonna try to go to the mud meeting too.
Yeah, well, if it dies at the mud meeting, it dies. But you would probably wanna, come in with an offer if the budget allows, or or you decide to, that's up to y'all, but, you understand.
I still.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, guys.
Spring thing. Event for you guys.
I'm gonna have to render it out and be uploaded or whatever, because portion of the beginning was the stream that forgot to go into YouTube.
What about
Streaming to YouTube, but
Bro,
That's probably.
Okay, well, that's.
He's already been.
Thank you much very much.
Okay, I appreciate it. Okay. Because
He's a board member. Texas Wildlife Department. So he's
aware of the spring. Because you know that years ago.
I don't know that. But,
Oh, we left.
Those are the ones. One of those things or whatever is the light spark's not working or whatever. So we're going to see if we can RMA it back or something.
In the backyard.
Everybody down.
The one that is always.
Okay, well, that's easy.
If I.
You can get one.
Oh, we never charge.
Then I never charged.
No, I don't let you.
Get the machine from Charlene.
I don't like machines. I've never seen it. Works for me. It wasn't. Well, one year I've been option and when is it?
I ain't right now.
Okay.